Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, once again to another episode of From the Hill Podcast. I am Wild Wayne Cartwright. With me is T. Gooden, Jay the Great, and C.K. Williams. Big shout out to everybody who's joining us on this live broadcast tonight. As we did last week, we had it simulcasted on YouTube. Everybody, as you can see, scrolling on the bottom, we have all of the ways that you can follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter. Also, please make sure that you forward all of this information to all of your family and your friends. Let them know that we're doing something special. We're just people from the hill. Without further ado, we do need to get into the recap of the Gulf Coast Challenge. And as everybody knows, the Gulf Coast Challenge didn't necessarily go the way we expected it to go in many ways. We fell 27-13. That brings our record on the season to 3-7. As everybody knows, going into this down in Mobile, a lot of people had a lot to say about it leading into it. A lot of people thought that this might be a blowout. And we just want to quickly get into the stats here for you guys. And here for the stats, as you can see, we really, for the most part, for many parts of it, we outplayed them. If you look at our penalties highlighted, 6 penalties for 38 yards. That is the lowest penalty count that we've had almost all season.
Thanks.
Also, you look at our time of possession. We had the ball longer. Look how many yards rushing we had. Now, I know we had to have 50 attempts to get 183 yards, but Jackson State had been very stingy the entire season against the run. And we got 183 yards off of them. Now, the passing yards, that's something that we definitely can't write home about, 135. But something that you can take away from is that we executed. We were moving the ball down the field. But the thing that reared its ugly head again, if you can look at those turnovers, we had 3 turnovers, very, very costly turnovers. We had 2 key fumbles that Donovan Eaglin had, and both of the fumbles were in Jackson State territory as we were moving in the score. And you can see the points that were off those turnovers. Jackson State had 7 to our none. So I'm going to turn this over to the panel. And Corey, we're going to let you go ahead and chime in first on this recap.
Okay. Wayne, as you know, this was Bulldog Nation. This was a game of the past 2 SWAC champions, Alabama A&M and Jackson State. So going in, I knew it was going to be a battle. Last week, when we talked about it, I stated that the coaches will have the team ready. They were ready. They were ready to go in there for a battle to win. Unfortunately, it's no moral victories. A loss is a loss. We took a loss 27-13. But I was proud of the effort our guys played. They came in to win the game, and they displayed that. But as you stated, those turnovers, changed the game. And also that second quarter, right before halftime, we were up 10-3 or 14 to whatever the score was. But right before halftime, we allowed Jackson State to score 2 touchdowns in 5 minutes. So that turned the game. And in the second half, we drove up and down the field. Like you stated, we had 180 yards of rushing. And, I can look and tell the defense was tired. That defense was tired. We ran the ball for 50 times. But those turnovers changed the game. We just couldn't find a way to not put it in the end zone before we turned over the ball. Again, I was proud of the effort our guys played with. We played to win the game, but unfortunately, we came out on the losing end.
Tenarius.
Cool. So I agree with statistics. I agree with Corey said. I was there. It was cold. It was raining, but the people were there. It was a nice game. One of the things I want to touch on, though, is the things that, me and Jay, we were at the game. We talked about it. There's been some stuff posted about it. But I walk into the game, my whole thing is I posted in groups how much I have a disdain for Jackson State. Prior to Deion Sanders was there, I didn't have a disdain for Jackson State. Prior to Deion Sanders being the coach, I didn't have a disdain for him. It's just when you put those two together and people thinking that, he is, almighty, it rubbed me the wrong way. The things that have been said from fans, the things that have been said from our fans, and the things that just have been said in general. So I go in the game, I walk in, me and a buddy of mine. The first thing I say, I'm walking through the crowd. I'm not going to say it here, but I said, F Jackson State. Use your imagination. People looked at me like I was wrong. Like, why are you saying that? I'm looking like it's the opposition. They are saying, like, if you go on that sideline, that's exactly what they're saying. And we got fans. I told them, I said, the whole game I'm standing up. One reason I was going to stand up the whole game because the bleachers was wet. I didn't want to sit down. But another reason, like, our team needs us. Like, we are David, they are Goliath. The team needs us to stand up. So that was the first thing. But then it goes back to being at home games. It was one time in the student section, we had the students booing the other team that ran out. We had people in our stands saying, don't boo them. That's not what we do. Why don't we? Why don't we boo the other teams? Why don't we boo the referees? I used to work security at the Von Braun Center downtown. The fans boo the referees as soon as they come out, just because that's what you're supposed to do. They boo the other team as soon as they come out. That's what you're supposed to do. So I'm just disappointed in our fans. First down, we don't get excited. We scored a field goal. The team ran out to the beginning of the game, and we scored a touchdown. Jen, can you tell me how many times the fight song was played? I'll wait on the answer. Right. 0.
I'm still waiting on it.
So, yeah. So the first time, I'll give them the first time a pass. Like I said, I love A&M. That's why I can say this. And I'm there. I'm always there. I see the same people. They see me. I give you the pass. When the teams were coming out, the band was playing some type of song. And of course, you can't just stop and play the fight song. But guess, the opposition knew that their team was about to come out. So they were playing the same song they play every time their team comes out. But we didn't. So we missed that opportunity. We missed the touchdown and missed the field goal. And then I'm gonna pass it along. It was one instance at the end of the game. Y'all remember in the fourth quarter that we could have scored and made a one possession game. We're doing a drive. And instead of the members of the amazing March Maroon and White that I'm going to give donations to make sure we march in that parade, they said, we going to do the wave. Why are we doing the wave? We're trying to score a touchdown. Just totally not paying attention to what's going on. And I'm sure I'm not going to gain any fans from saying what I'm saying. And I don't care. It's just we have to support our team. And another thing, like somebody posted that video and it was said that, A&M fans are conservative. And they were okay with that. Why is that okay? Just because we're conservative. And then you wonder, like people were talking about the coach. All this stuff can tie to each other. We need another coach. We need a big-time coach. Why would a big-time coach come to conservative fans that can't get people to fill the stands, that also can't get high-dollar recruits to come to the school? All this stuff ties into each other, man. I just want us to be great. And I'm done.
Jen.
Tenarius pretty much said everything I felt. I enjoyed the game. Mobile has a special place in my heart because I did live there for a couple of years. So, of course, the Gulf Coast Classic is fastly becoming one of my favorite events. Mobile really puts on a show. They want us there, and they really roll out the red carpet. So let me give Mobile props. As far as the game, again, I 100% mirror what Tamaria said. Now there was a lot of commentary and a back and forth about how A&M was supposed to play during this game. We heard that we were going to get blown out by 70 points, 60 points, 50 points. I even seen someone say that we were going to lose by 100 points. So coming off of a tough loss in the Classic, as well as losing to Valley, I was concerned about the mindset of our team. But I have to give our football team props because they came out focused, they came out ready, and they came with their heads in the game. Now, the football team was there. There was a couple of things we could have executed better, but the team was there. Going back to the fans, we have to do better as fans. Now, our stands were full. I'm proud of people. Maroon and white was there. The Bulldogs were in Mobile. The Bulldogs also were quiet. I, along with Tenarius, as well as a few others, we pretty much lost our voices yelling and supporting the team. And we had other people there that was just sitting there watching. And this is my challenge to the fan base. The team feeds off of us. They take our energy. So if you go in there and treat it like you're at a study session in the library, then what does that give? What does that tell the team? When you see, again, our opposition, they're on third down, everyone's yelling defense. Or, they got their chance, they're going. And we are looking like we're at a game, but we're literally just like we're watching the game instead of being an active participant. So my challenge to the fans, when you go to these games, get 110% behind your team. Cheer them on. Yell, scream, shake your pom-poms. Know that when it's third down and our team is on defense, do the defense chant. When we have the ball, make sure you're focusing, doing the let's go chants. We can do better as fans. So I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the fight that the team put out, but I am challenging the fans to do better.
And let me put a cap on this. Let me put a cap on this really quick here. There were some other things that I do want to address. And I don't care if there are any Jackson State people who slipped in to watch this. It was very well documented and well mentioned that they said that the referees cheated. They tried to take the game from them. They said that there were 3 touchdowns that they took away. I made a post on Facebook yesterday and I cleared it up. And most of y'all know just my, how I know the game and know things about it. The first thing that happened was on the kickoff return that Jackson State had scored on. Right after we had kicked the field goal, we took the lead 3-0. They returned the ensuing kickoff for a touchdown. There was a personal foul because there was a guy who hit our kicker behind the play. Even though it was behind the play, it's still a penalty. Number 2 was there was a pass, a forward pass that was made behind the line of scrimmage. All right. It was from Casey to Eaglin. It was incomplete. It hit the ground. Jackson State picked it up, ran it to the end zone. All right. They said that they cheated us. They said that we cheated them. That was an incomplete pass. And then furthermore, what goes along with the thing is I was watching the broadcast and you had 2 commentators, not a commentator and an analyst. Neither one of them knew the rules of the game, where they both were sitting up there saying that, well, it was behind the line of scrimmage. Even if it goes forward, that's still a forward pass. And then the third one, this was the one that really got me and got everybody. All right. And I know I don't fault anybody for not knowing this rule. All right. It was when there was a goal line stand that A&M stopped them at the 2-yard line. All right. It was 4th down. The ball was fumbled forward by the Jackson State running back. It was recovered in the end zone by a lineman. All right. And a lot of Jackson State people said they cheated us. That was our touchdown. Well, one thing that you need to know is on 4th down, the only person that can recover a fumble is the person who fumbled the ball. It cannot be advanced. It can only be recovered by the person who fumbled the ball. When that happens and it's recovered by somebody on your team, the ball is returned back to the spot of the fumble, which was the 2-yard line, and then it was turnover downs and gave it back to A&M. So I wanted to speak to that. And lastly, I wanted to say, I know a lot of people have said a lot of stuff about the team all year, but one thing you cannot question is that team came out and they punched Jackson State in the mouth. And I mean literally punched them in the mouth. They had them confused, they had them frustrated, and it even got to the point where Coach Prime himself gave the Bulldogs props. And if you know anything about the way his feelings were towards Connell Maynard, our head football coach, you know that it took a lot for him to come out and say, y'all brought it. Tenarius, real quick, and then we'll move on.
Right. Last thing I want to say is shout out to, me, Jen, Corey, Damian, a lot of others. We sit in the same section all the time, top of section G, home games. And then we find each other on the away games. We talk about the officials all the time. Shout out to these officials because they call the game how it needs to be called. And another thing I want to say, I think Ted Dixie and Coach Maynard mentioned it, is after the game, there was a lot of love shown from the Jackson State football players to the A&M players. So I just like, even the Jackson State people that I talk to in the city, the stuff that we see on the internet is not what you see on the field. It's not the people that are in the stand that you meet in public. Most of the time you have real logical people, but then you have the internet trolls. So shout out to the players for showing good sportsmanship. Shout out to the fans that I met. They saw me with my A&M shirt on in the hotel. I saw them with a Jackson State shirt on in the hotel. We said we had to say, but at the end of the day, there's a bunch of Black people having a good time, and I appreciate that.
Yes, indeed. And when I look here in the chats, I'll answer one of the questions here. Say, who is that Kevin guy posting pictures trying to rally up cheating allegations against us? So Kevin, he's a photographer for Jackson State. And I will just be honest. He is an absolute idiot. Okay. He posted a lot of stuff, made a lot of allegations, does not know the rules of the game. He sat there and argued me on Facebook last night for about 4 hours. And at every turn, I had all the rules. And then when I finally posted and showed him the rule about who can recover a fumble on 4th down, he finally shut the hell up.
Hey, and then last thing, Wayne was on Sports Jeopardy. Don't try Wayne. He don't like to say that, but Wayne was on Sports Jeopardy. He know what he's talking about a little bit. Well, not a little bit, a lot. So respect when Wayne say something.
Put some respect on my name.
He is a subject matter expert in this.
Right. He really knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, so let's move on. All right. We have one final home game. And our home game is this Saturday. And it is against Texas Southern. 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. And guess what? Yours truly will be in the house. It will be it'll be a 47. Yeah, I will be in the house. I'm making the drive down on Thursday. I will be at this game. It will be pretty chilly by Alabama standards, so make sure you dress warmly if you're coming to the game. It said that it's supposed to be about 47 degrees. Now, something about this game. Texas Southern has an outside chance of winning the West Division. They come into this game 5-5. All right. They have a dynamic quarterback, Andrew Body, number one. Number one in the white jersey is your guy that you have to stop. He is the full catalyst of their offense. Also, I want to just say for Texas Southern too, is that they've been on some hard times. If anybody who follows HBCU football, they have struggled a lot over the years. And so they shut out Southern 24-0. They went down and they beat Alcorn on Alcorn's homecoming. And just this past weekend, they hammered Grambling 41-7. So this team comes in here with a lot of confidence. But one thing we need our fans. I don't care that we're 3-7. I don't care how you feel that maybe this season wasn't how you expected. There are seniors who are going to take that field for the final time, and they need to receive the love and the support from some loyal fans. Tenarius, you start this one, and we'll go around the circle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really follow Texas Southern, so I can tell you, I'll take Wayne's at word on that quarterback. So if Wayne says we need to spot a quarterback, that means we need to have two on him. So, but back to what he's saying, last game, man, in Louis Cruz for this year, we need to support the people that have been with us through the long haul. Off subject, we just had somebody announce that they transferred to the transfer portal today. I'm not going to say his name, but we need to support the people that have stayed with us for the long haul. We need to be there to support them. And it's not only the football team. You got band members, you got cheerleaders, you got ROTC people. That will be the last time that they are out there supporting the Bulldogs. So make sure you're there. It's 1 p.m. kickoff time. I think I looked at the forecast. It's going to be like 40 degrees. Come on out there, cheer the Bulldogs on, wrap up. You still got time to go watch your college football game later in the day. Still got time to go eat your barbecue or do whatever. But make sure you come and support our Bulldogs on this Saturday.
And let me just also add, for those that will not be able to make it, the game will also be able to be seen on HBCU Go. So it's on HBCU Go, or come down to Louis Cruz Stadium. Jen.
All right. Yes, Andrew Body. That's the assignment. He is one of the best quarterbacks in this Southwestern Athletic Conference, and he is the assignment. In order to win the game, I don't know if you remember last year when he and Akil Glass went touchdown for touchdown. But yeah, we have to stop him in order to win. I would love for us to end this season on a high note and prevent TSU from going to the SWAC. But again, let's be there. Let's support our seniors. Let's support those who have stayed. And let's, have that old Bulldog spirit in Louis Cruz Stadium on Saturday. I can't wait.
Corey.
Hey fans, Bulldog Nation, come out and support our seniors who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for us this year and throughout their careers. Saturday, Andrew Body, like everybody's saying, defense, we normally have a problem against mobile dual threat quarterbacks, which he is. But I expect our coaches to have us ready again. Now, it's going to be difficult if the players can get up for another game. But I'm sure that they'll be ready. The coaches will have them prepared for this game, putting in a great game plan. And I look for a great effort. But Texas Southern does have something to play for because with a loss from Prairie View and they win, they can go to the SWAC championship. But I look for us to be ready. I want all the fans to come out and support the team. And, we're going to try to cheer the Bulldogs on to another victory.
Hey, one thing before we move on, Wayne, if you don't mind. So every home game, like I said earlier, like I love Jay, I love Corey, I love DT, I love CJ, I love everybody. I love them. I see them every home game. I'm tired of only seeing them like cheering on us. Let's bring some new faces. Like I want to meet new Bulldogs. I want to meet new Bulldogs that love Alabama, A&M, just like we do. So let's start that this Saturday. Come on out this Saturday. Let's carry that same energy to the spring game because when nobody's in that stadium, we're still in that same top of Section D. Like we have nowhere else to sit. Let's start that tradition on Saturday. Carry it to the spring game. Carry it to Fan Day, and go through next season. So let's get some new Bulldogs starting Saturday.
Yeah, and looking here in the chat, Demetria, love you, girl. Love your spirit. Love your energy. If you go to the game, leave your negative energy and complaining in the car. In the car. So,
and lock the door. After you left it in the car, lock the doors. Cut the alarm on. Don't let it sneak out.
Totally agree.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So, moving forward, we are transitioning into some basketball. We've got our Lady Bulldogs that we're going to talk about. And we're also going to talk about our men's team. So, one of the things that we need to talk about here is we know that both of our basketball teams have gotten off to an 0-2 start. Our women's team, they played at Alabama. That was a game that no one really expected them to win, so no one faults them for that. They took a tough loss on Sunday at Nicholls State. They had to lead at halftime before falling 60-55. And then our men's team, as many of you might have saw on the live stream last Thursday from Elmore Gymnasium, they played North Alabama. It was a nip and tuck game. They had to come back. They fell behind by double digits, came back again, and they fell 85-76. And then last night they traveled up to Tennessee State, and they fell 87-76. So we know that they've got some new parts, some new pieces on both teams. And 2 games in, you can see some of the positives. You can see that for the men's team, you can see that they are moving on offense. But defense is still kind of a work in progress, which we can expect, with a new system and a new team. So real quickly here, let's just chit chat about this basketball, and then we'll move forward because we got some special guests that are going to join us here in a few. So go ahead, T.
Yeah, real quick for me about the basketball, man. Like I agree totally with everything Wayne said about the falls, and we've other than the Alabama game with the women's, those games that were played between the men and women, those were hard fought games that we could have won by whatever would happen. So I said it earlier, I think this week. Like I'm tired of like being on the losing end of the hard fought game. I want to start winning some of those hard fought games. Again, I've said it's a football. The effort is always there, but we gotta do the execution. Where that comes from, coaching execution during the game, during practice, player execution during game, during practice. We got to start executing because we actually play harder than those teams that we've lost to, but they execute it. They execute what they better than what we have. So we got to make sure we're good to go in execution.
Yeah. And so also the other thing that we need to make sure that everyone is aware of, a very special event that is coming up. And the very special event that's coming up is the very last game, very, very last game, the finale of Elmore Gymnasium. I know a lot of people said they got a lot of sentimental value, a lot of sentimental feelings. And our guests who are getting ready to join us.
Dust to dawn, baby. I remember Dust to dawn. I'm sorry.
I do too. A lot of our guests who are going to join us, they're going to be able to speak very candidly about this building. But there is a doubleheader coming up on Thursday. And the women will play at 5 p.m. and the men will follow. Both games are against Samford. I'm looking forward to being in the house for this. So, without further delay, ladies and gentlemen, we want to present to some and introduce to others none other than our special guests tonight. We have Mr. Shakespeare and Mr.
Shakespeare. What's going on, man? You all right?
What's going on, man? Hey, I'm happy to be here, man. This is beautiful, man. I love this platform y'all got going. It is super dope, man. I love it.
Glad to hear, man.
So I'm not sure if Lamont if he's just hanging out or if he doesn't know that he has his line on mute. But if you know that you're on, Lamont, let's see. There he is.
Yeah, my son's game, so that's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah, it's kind of breaking up, man. It's kind of breaking up a little. There we go. There we go.
There we go.
All right, now we have you. All right, now if you just take yourself off mute, now we got you. So now that we have you guys, Jermaine, go ahead and introduce yourself to the masses, if you would.
All right, everyone. My name is Jermaine Shakespeare. I graduated A&M in 2006. I played ball there from 02 to 05 and finished up on that SWAC championship team back there with Obie Trotter. That was a great year. It was a great year.
Yes, sir. Lamont, if you can hear us, go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, this is an honor to talk with y'all. And I was there at A&M in 93 through 96, where we in 3 years only lost 11 games.
Nice.
So Elmore have a very special place in my heart.
That is awesome, and it's a pleasure that you guys are able to join us tonight. So T Good and CK, it's all you guys.
I'll start first, Corey, if you don't mind. No, the first thing I like, Shakespeare, just tell us, you played under Pettaway. As a student at the time when you were a player, I always got to watch Pettaway's antics on the sideline. Those antics were very animated. So how was that every day in practice and, during the game? Like, how was it? Tell me about that experience.
Man, playing for Coach Pett, hands down, was probably one of the hardest things I had to do in my life. Like, this dude in practice, man, he was like I said, let me say this real quick. I love Coach Pett to death. Giving me an opportunity and everything for that, being a great mentor and that for so many people, man. But he was hell to play for in that gym, man. He was hell, man. Goodness gracious. We got stories for days, man. I remember this one time I was having trouble making my times, you know what I mean? Because everything Pett did was very, very strict and very regimented. Like, everything had to be on point, and if you didn't do it right, you had to do it over and over and over and over again.
Right,
man,
right.
He told me one day, man, he was like, "Look, Shakespeare, you don't make your damn times. Don't bring your ass back." Because we're going home for the holidays, and it was me and a couple of guys. Goodness, I can't remember who it was, man. But he was like, "Look, if you don't hear from me over the break, don't bring your ass back to this campus, in this gym."
Right.
Just like that. Man, dude. Yeah, Pett was hell, man.
Couple more questions I have for you. So just tell us what it means to you. You played at Elmore, last game at Elmore. You see the transition of the university that you graduated from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does it mean to you to see us leaving Elmore Gymnasium, going to the new event center?
Man, when y'all showed that visual there, man, I almost had a little baby tear right there, because Elmore, obviously, just for playing basketball, like, I've been in every gym in the SWAC, and I'm trying to say this as unbiased as possible, and I really want to be objective here, but there is no other place like Elmore. No other place in the entire SWAC gives you the energy that Elmore brings. We're talking about the dog pound. Of course, we all know how crazy the dog pound is, but you can't sleep on those brothers that sit right there on that front row when you're running out the lockers, because they all on the court. They are literally on the court.
I was one of them 4 years.
Listen, that doesn't happen anywhere else in the SWAC. Nowhere else in the SWAC does that happen. Nowhere.
It's good stuff. That's good. And my last question for you, and then I'll turn over to Corey. So I know your daughter plays for the Lady Bulldogs. Just tell us, what does it mean for the same school you played basketball for? Your daughter plays for the Lady Bulldogs. Like, did you influence her to play for the Lady Bulldogs? Did you strong arm her? Like, what does it mean to you to have your daughter playing in the same gym that you play in?
Man, I'm getting sentimental already just thinking about it. To be honest, like my dad, I don't know if y'all know, my dad went to A&M. And so he was there on the track scholarship. And so that's what kind of helped encourage me to go to A&M. And then when my kid got to about 5th, 6th grade, is when we really started to pick up this basketball. But I kind of wanted her to go to an HBCU. So we would travel all these different events, FAMU, Clark Atlanta, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then when A&M called, Coach Michael Morgan called me the 8th grade year, the end of her 8th grade year into her 9th grade year, that summer. And it was when he called, it was like everything for me stopped. Like, it was so unexpected. And they didn't even know that I had played there. They didn't even know that I was a student there. They just reached out, and that was one of the most special moments. So now that she's having this opportunity to play in the same gym and walk those same hallways that I did, man, it definitely means a lot. She actually called me last week, and she told me that they picked her to represent women's basketball in the ribbon cutting ceremony. Nice. In the that's coming up on Friday, man. So it's a very, very special thing to see my kid continuing on in that legacy. And that's part of the reason I got a lot of pride for A&M. I love A&M to death, and I hope that we can continue that tradition, in my family, even with her kids and stuff. So it's a beautiful thing.
Definitely, man. Love it.
All right, Lamont. Hey, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thanks for joining us. What's some of your fondest memories in Elmore Gymnasium?
Oh, man. I think my fondest memory is when I first got to A&M, and I walked out there in Elmore, and I see everybody from the rafters laying up in the top left corner, and the guys running the Burger King had something. It was very special. And when they got drunk up in there, you could tell it's just a special place to me, man.
Okay. Well, you're breaking up a little bit. Tell me about some of the, including yourself, what are some of your teammates who you played with, some of the legends during those years that you played with?
Craig Lyden, Deontay Goodman, better known as B, Dirk Williams, Dion Ramsey, Rodney Richardson, Desmond Hope, Costa Malone.
Oh yeah,
so, during that time, we didn't play no games when we walked up in Elmo.
And can I say something real quick? I'm sorry. And I don't personally know any of those guys, but I do remember hearing their name. Like Coach Pettaway, like made an intent to make sure that we knew a lot of the past teams, a lot of past legends. And so when he's saying these names, I'm like, oh, okay, I remember hearing that name in practice a lot. So like I said, Pet was really, really intent and instrumental in helping us understand what came before us.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what I think that's what's missing right now. Because the passion that we have right now for the school and what A&M has been to us is totally different.
Awesome. Now Lamont, you have a daughter who plays for A&M as well on the volleyball team, Bailey Duckett. Now tell me, how is that for you as a dad, having your daughter play volleyball for Alabama A&M?
Man, it's an honor just to see her wear the maroon and white. He's doing some great things in her freshman year. They get ready to go to the tournament down in Houston, Texas. So, it's been a great year. We just gonna wait to see what happens. But it's been a great experience just to see her out there playing and then have a honor.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been following your daughter and also the girls volleyball team, and they have a team full of freshmen, talented freshmen. And Bailey is a real standout on the volleyball team. So, hey, I appreciate you guys, both Jermaine and Lamont. I followed you guys during the time. Of course, Elmore. We know it was hard to win in Elmore for anybody.
Hard to win.
It was like the Boston Garden, hot. Too.
Yeah, it was hot. Hey, it was so hot in there, man. God. But we used to practice like that every day. So we was used to it.
I remember going to volleyball games and basketball games, and being up top, and man, like you didn't have a car, had to walk from Grayson Hall to Elmore.
Yeah.
You needed the coat until you got upstairs. After you got upstairs, if you didn't take that coat off, you were gonna melt. So it was very hot in that gym, man. And I know for a fact that the new event center is gonna be climate control. One thing I forgot to I think we forgot to ask you guys is, so just Shakespeare, tell us, like, now what are you doing now as a graduate? What do you do now?
I left A&M and I got into public education. I've been teaching school. Well, I was teaching school in the metro Atlanta area for 14, 15 some odd years. I just recently moved back here to Alabama, where I'm assistant principal down here in Ozark, Alabama. Interestingly enough, one of my teammates at A&M, I'm the principal at his school.
Wow.
I'm the principal at his school, man. So Terry Horton, one of my teammates. I don't know if y'all remember Terry, but Terry Horton's one of my teammates, and I'm the principal at his old middle school.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. So
what's also interesting, like, I did a lot of coaching in between as well. And one thing that I made all of my players do from every team that I coached is I tweaked a little version of the Bulldog Creed. So right now I got kids all over that can quote that on site, man. Of course, with some my little tweaks, man. But that's just where I've been intentional about taking A&M everywhere I go.
That is awesome.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
And so Shakespeare and Mr. Duckett. So something we like to do here at about this part of the show is we like to call this our funny segment. So Jen, she's gonna facilitate y'all through this funny segment.
Oh,
okay, fellas. So want to circle back to playing for Coach Van Pettaway. Can you give me the funniest moment with him, or something that you got in trouble with that you can now laugh at now? But give us your funniest moment with Coach Pettaway.
The PG-13 version.
Oh, snap. Okay. All right. Hold on. Wait. Let me just say, ain't too much repent as PG-13.
Lamont took that off mute real fast.
Yeah. I don't know. Hold on. Let me think about that one.
I give you a clean cut version.
Go ahead, Lamont.
So the funniest moment is when we was getting ready to we was hosting the tournament here in Austin. And I grabbed the rebound and I'm out there cheering and everything. And he went up and told me, said, "You concentrate on what's going on." And I told him, I said, "Go get the parking tickets ready so we can go to Louisville." He said, "You crazy as I thought you was." I said, "Yeah, you're right. Let's go, baby, because we should win."
Did he just cut off?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of an incident with mine, like trying to think of some clean ones. But I took a little hiatus in between 2003 and the 2004 season. My youngest daughter, the one that's playing up there now, she was born April 03. So when she was born, I took a little hiatus from playing or whatever. So got a job, blah, 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 blah. So about November 04, coach called me. He was like, "Shake, we need you back on the team, blah, 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 blah." So we get back on the team and everything's going great. Like, we went in, this, that, and the third, and I think we had lost the game. It was a bad loss. But coach looked at me on the bus in front of everybody. He was like, "Shakespeare, you ain't did nothing. I'm gonna put your butt back on the streets right now. Get off my bus."
Oh, Coach Fedaway, man.
That had to be the very clean version.
I don't know. I had made like 4-6 points. I don't know what it was, like 2 rebounds. And coach was like, "Man, I'm gonna put you back on the streets tonight."
Hey, man. I know I got a funny Petaway story for y'all real quick, man. So I was at a game. I was there 96 to 2000. This was I was there the transition from SIAC into SWAC. And Corey, you remember Pokey, Antonio Graham.
Yep, I remember.
So Antonio Graham, for those of y'all that don't know, he was like Dennis Rodman kind of player. He was rebounds, defense, all that. So
Nice.
it was a game where they were just killing Fort Valley State. I mean, blowing them out by like 40. And so Pokey decides that he thinks it's a good idea to pull up on a fast break and shoot a 3. And he hadn't shot a 3 the whole season. And you can just see Petaway, you can hear him on the sideline. You can hear the whole gym heard him. No! And he shot an air ball. And as soon as the ball hit the floor and rolled out of bounds, Pokey started heading towards the locker room. You can see the veins in Petaway's face.
Yeah. Hey, you already know when he give you that look. You already know you coming out the game. Go ahead and sit down. Go ahead and sit down.
I seen that look as a fan. I'm like, man, he's staring that player down. He will stare you down until you sit down, and he'll still look. I'm like, man.
I used to sit in a dog pound, and so looking at his facial expression from where I was sitting at, straight comedy. I would probably enjoy watching him more than I watched the game.
Yeah, man. There was a game we was playing Valley one time, and I went in the locker room during halftime. I done cussed the whole team out because they wasn't throwing me the ball. So we get back down the court, right? And so they throw me the ball, and I do my little patting move, blah, blah, blah. And the dude, the post player, he was like 6'10", 6'11". He took my ball like a tennis ball, man, and like threw it on the stage. And the whole game stopped. They had to go get the ball. Coach just looked at me, man. Like, he didn't even have to say nothing. He looked at me, and I head on and started walking to the baseline. Walking to the sideline. It was a wrap. It was over. It was over.
Well, guys, we love this time with y'all, and we are so thankful that you guys took the time out of your schedule to join us. We definitely don't want you to be a stranger. Come back and see us in the future. Continue to support the show, and we will continue to look for your daughters and support them as they go through A&M athletics. So God bless you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Will do. Thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. And that was very interesting. I know I got to make sure that when I see Coach Petaway on Thursday night, I got to make sure I give him some credit that we took up about 20 minutes of having his greatest hits.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So we have reached this part of the show where it is called freestyle. And in our freestyle session, as everyone knows, and those that are watching for the first time, this is where we talk about anything and everything. And the first thing that I want to throw out there is about this Magic City Classic deal.
I knew it.
What I want to say about this new Magic City Classic deal is that they have extended the contract for an additional 4 seasons. And for those that really, really feel that, hey, I get a chance to go down and I get to do all of my regular tailgating, I get to be status quo. There's a lot of people who could care less about the financial ramifications in this deal. They feel just as long as I get to go down and party, I don't care. But for a lot of us who really do care about the finances and care about the significance of this deal, there's a $500,000 payment to both teams. $500,000 payment. And you figure that we said before, the city of Birmingham makes over $20 million annually off of this one weekend. And I just feel like for me, it just extended the problem for an additional 4 years. There's so much that I can say that I've already said, so I'm going to just digress and just say, if anybody else wants to add to that, feel free, go for it.
I definitely want to add to that, because what you will say, Wayne, is like, you say 500,000, we saw 500,000. Also in an article, it says, the actual payouts to the team have been like $800,000 and $900,000 for the past couple of years. But those are not guaranteed. We need guaranteed money. You cannot get LeBron James, any player, to sign a contract without guaranteed money up first. And the guaranteed money always supersedes the incentive money. But again, we've got $100,000 more that we got last year. In the contract year, y'all know how it goes in the contract year. We keep up with sports. In the contract year is when you're supposed to get all the money, but we kicked the can down the road 4 more years. Incentive that we've been getting, and again, what with the other two teams, but their payout, and if I'm wrong, correct me, but I don't think I am. It said $3 million. Am I right by saying that, or is that number too high? Exactly. I saw it on paper. It said $3 million. But okay, cool. We take out $500,000, and I guess we're gonna be okay with that. Go Bulls! I'm gonna be there regardless.
Yeah, just wanted to acknowledge you, Jonathan. Yes, we acknowledge most of that is spent to pay police workers, etc. And then Demetrius says that ain't enough money.
Definitely, Demetrius, that ain't enough money.
And then I like this one.
That isn't enough money. That ain't.
And I like this one, Michael. Does the school make $500,000 during homecoming? Or what about this one? Oh, Lamont, this is beautiful.
Small city.
Woo!
Big city. What? You know what it is. But back to what he said. Does the A&M make that much during homecoming? We don't know because they don't release it. They should tell us. Yeah, does the school make $500K during homecoming? Who knows? I'm pretty sure they make a good amount just for the tailgate spots. We always sell more tickets, but if they release those numbers, we would know. So we should
Lamont's on a roll, y'all.
We got 2 postage stamps, ramen noodles, and a food stamp card. That's all we got.
Now, if it's a shrimp flavor, if it's shrimp and beef, I don't mind. Hand me all the shrimp and beef flavor ramen.
Oh my gosh, I love this, man.
Y'all, hey, y'all hard, boy. Y'all cruel.
Well, I will say this, as the lone Birmingham native on this panel, classic is a holiday down here. Major City Classic is a holiday. The schools are out. You do nothing but classic down here. With that being said, I still want what's best for A&M. And so if it's, going to stay at Legion Field for 4 years, I'm okay with that. Only if you put some money into Legion Field. Birmingham is starting wanting to become the mecca for HBCU classics. So with that being said, I want the city of Birmingham to treat Legion Field the way they treat Protective Stadium. I want if it's good enough for Protective, it needs to be good enough for Legion Field. I don't mind pouring into the local economy around Legion Field. Those neighborhoods, those families, they make a lot of money with parking. And so again, I'm okay with it staying in the neighborhood. Just make sure the city of Birmingham invests in upkeep of Legion Field.
Some people make just the same amount of money of people parking in their yard than they pay us. Like seriously, but like seriously, they really do. I've seen the yard packed like sardines, but also like Mr. Johnson, I can't remember his last name, but he said other companies donate as well. Forget donations. Like, they don't have to donate. We need guaranteed payments. You know what I mean? Like, we need guaranteed payments. Though, and most of the times when those donations are donated, it's a split between the two schools. Like, no, we both of the schools, Alabama State needs guaranteed payment, just like we need guaranteed payment. Because at the end of the day, that Magic City Classic is only successful because of Alabama State University in Montgomery and Alabama A&M University in Normal, Alabama. So it needs to be treated as such.
Go ahead, Corey. You've been chomping at the bit.
Well, like I stated last week, you know, Birmingham and the Magic City Classic, they go 2 and 2 together. So I am, you know, the community. Birmingham has made an investment over the 81 years, you know, in the Magic City Classic. And also those communities, you know, thrive off of that, as well as vendors. And so it was said, you know, that it wasn't a guarantee that vendors will have the opportunity to make the kind of money or for their entrepreneurship at Protective. So all of that went into play. However, like I stated, it needs to be a business decision. And a business decision, you know, I'm hopeful that both schools will make, when all said and done, $1 million or $2 million a piece, you know, in the future. But I'm okay with it for the next 4 years because, you know, Birmingham is the Magic City Classic. However, the money that is received from these games, you know, I'm hoping to go back into the athletic department in these schools to grow our facilities. And because we need to make sure that we continue to grow as well. And we need to see the fruits from that.
Yes, indeed. And one other thing that I want to say that we still got a little bit of time here. I want to go back in this freestyle session and I want to address something that was brought up earlier in the show, which was about fan engagement. Now, we had Jason Etheridge on last week, and he talked about the fan engagement. He's done a tremendous job. I'm looking forward to seeing him in person this weekend. But one thing, the video that we were talking about, and you've probably have seen it circulated on the sports forum, and you've also probably seen it circulated on the class reunion page, is Scotty Off Script. He had a show yesterday, and he talked about in about a minute and a half, he talked about A&M's fans. And he said that he talked about the announcer. He talked about, you know, just how quiet the fans are. Now, something I just want to say about this here, real clear. I said last week about how you have to set an atmosphere to get players. People complain all the time that we don't have this, we don't have that, and people make excuses and they come up with different reasons on why they don't attend. Some say, well, I don't come because no one else goes. I don't come because it's always quiet. I don't come because the band doesn't do this. I don't come because the announcer sounds like that. I don't come because I don't come. You know, we get it already. But my message here is, it's the same adage that I would use for your own life, which is you have to control what you can control. If you control yourself and you decide that I'm going to start attending games, if we can get a collection of yous, a collection of people who decide, I am going to be a chain breaker. I am going to go and I'm going to cheer this team on, and I'm going to do it how I feel like I want to do it. And I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to care what other people think about how I do it. If we can get a collection of yous, we can make a general large mass of we. All I'm saying here, ladies and gentlemen, is we need to stop the excuses and the complaining and the bickering. Because what has always been, remains the same. All four of us on this show are going to be at the home football game on Saturday. And I can bet you that you can throw a rock and you can hit nothing but, you know, a metal bench. And some people will say it's too cold. And some people will say, well, the team's 3-7. And some people will say, why should I show up anyway? But it's the same school that you will wear the gear of. It's the same school that you will get in front of a camera and say, this is my HBCU, my AAMU. You'll represent that all day, but you'll be selective about your support. So I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be a collection of yous that controls what they can control and make a decision to start making change. I promise you, if people will start making changes, other people will begin to get on board. But it's going to take some of you who have been the perennial, the annual offenders to start making change. I'm done on it. Jay, you want to say something? Go ahead.
I ditto everything you say. It's on us. I do see a shout out. I got a shout out. Oscar Sullivan. It was so good seeing you this weekend.
Oscar Sullivan made an appearance.
Listen, the Oscar Sullivan.
Oh, yeah, that's my best friend, y'all. That's my best friend. We've been best friends for 26 years, man.
It was a pleasure to see him. So just again, like what Wild Wayne said, Saturday, if you're in these comments, we want to see you at the game. Want to see you engaged. Bring a friend, bring 2 friends, bring 3 friends. These are the things that that fan support does. It goes a real big way in a successful program. So where a lot of times when you see a successful football team, you see a successful fan base. So fans, alumni, students, Saturday, I want to see you at Lewis Cruz. Come by and say, hey, Jen, hey, Jay. I'm going to speak back Saturday.
Yeah. Final thoughts, T. Gooden and C.K. Williams. Final thoughts.
Man, I just like the vibe we had this show, man. I appreciate Lamont and Shakespeare for coming on talking about that time at Elmore. Appreciate us talking about the Magic City Classic contract. Appreciate the fan engagement, man. Like I think these are the most comments we've had. We're trying to increase this. We do this free of charge. We do this because we love it. We buy season tickets. A&M gives us nothing. We get no gear. They didn't ask us to do this. We're doing it because we love it. So we just want the fan engagement to continue. And I promise you, we'll get better and better and better doing this as the weeks goes on.
And OJ, I saw your message. Hey, it was great seeing you too in Mobile as well. And I wish I could have got over there to give you a hug, but I guess I'll see you again. You know, it's all love, bro. Also, I just want to encourage all the fans to come out Thursday night to a farewell of Elmore. You know, it's former players who gave their blood, sweat, and tears. Coach Pettaway, other coaches who coached, Ben Job, and I also talked to a guy who played for a coach that was coaching before Ben Job. So please come out and send Elmore off in a good way. Also, come out senior day, Saturday, in Lewis Cruz Stadium to support our Bulldogs against Texas Southern and to send them off into this world. You know, they're always talking about come to A&M, for athletics and as well as academics. A lot of our players is going to matriculate and also starting their lives and working. So let's support them on senior day and send them out well.
Yes, indeed. So as Corey said, the finale, Thursday night, women at 5, men to follow against Samford. Ladies and gentlemen, as we always say, we've had it scrolling on the screen. Make sure that you like and share and also subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, From the Hill Podcast. Also follow us on Twitter and like us and follow us on IG and Facebook. We will be back next week at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central for another show. Please continue to share about this show. We are continuing to build, and we have some big plans, y'all. We're looking to get a lot of people involved in this show. It's going to be some people that you're going to see come across this screen that are going to be bringing a whole lot of value, and it's going to have a whole lot of entertainment. So we just getting started, y'all. It's only 3 episodes. We look forward to you joining us for the 4th episode next week. For Wild Wayne Cartwright, Mr. T. Gooden, Jay the Great, and C.K. Williams. Thank you for joining us on another episode of From the Hill Podcast. Good night.